Oh boy.
Oh
Well, say
boy.
something.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
My God.
I was
I
trying to
thought that
think.
was a good intro.
I was trying to think if she has any other ad libs, and I know she does, but it just escaped me in the moment.
Mine is my favorite ad lib of hers is in Espresso when she goes, stupid.
Yeah, it's
You
great.
know what's oh okay.
Well, I just said it was great.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, is that what she says? And then I questioned if that's actually what she
Oh,
said
that's
for a
literally
second.
exactly what she goes, stupid.
Yeah. Now he's.
Okay, now that we're all set on that, hey,
Oh boy.
welcome to Pop Girlies. Oh boy.
Hi, Pop Girlies.
It's
Welcome
September.
back to just regular scheduled programming after our
It's just
month-long
family.
Now it's
August
really just family.
extravaganza. Eleganza. We had nostalgia. We were Norman. We heard the
We heard the
rumors. And we
rumors.
made observations from that crowded room, Mama.
Yep.
And now we're
Yep.
back to be woof, woof, woof.
Now we're back for on the ground reporting
Yes, we
Yeah.
are. Breaking pop emergencies.
our favorite things to do.
We're journalists. I mean, if you really
Yeah.
think about
If
it.
you really, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, we're also coming up on the 1 year anniversary of Pop Girl.
I know, T. I was just thinking that.
Do you think everyone's going to send us presents?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like more important than like a child's first birthday because this is something that contributes to society and
Yeah.
children don't do anything
Right.
first year
I
besides
feel
poop.
like we're probably about to get the keys to every city in the entire country.
I agree. Actually, every city that anybody who's ever listened to Pop Girlies is in.
Trump
Yeah.
is over.
Yeah, Sweden, we are coming for you.
We are
Well,
your new rulers.
we
New planet.
us at the Stockholm International Airport. Greetings.
And then it's rocket number 9, take off to the planet
Yeah.
Pop Girlies.
Take off to the planet, Pop Girlies.
Yeah.
PO, PG, Earlies.
Girlies.
Well, my girlies. Should we get into some hot tracks?
Yes.
Totally.
Okay, Maria,
Yeah, Maria, what's your
Maria,
track, girl?
Maria,
Okay.
Maria.
Okay, guys. So I'm starting to get a little bit more into this like cat's eye gig a little bit,
Oh, are you feeling
but
gnarly?
I'm a little bit gnarly, but my hot track, and okay, so I know probably the least about this that like anyone possibly can,
Right.
but I know that Cat's Eye was formed from the show on Netflix where they were like building like a pop girl group like through like a boot camp and like the whole thing was documented for a Netflix
Okay.
show. And there's this other girl who I guess was on this show and another show where they were building a pop group. Maybe it was also, maybe there were two shows about Cat's Eye. I have no idea. But there's this girl, and I think her name is Adela. I think that's how you say her name. And she just released an EP. And I was texting Drew and Levi when I was listening to it because the first two songs are so good. Like they're so good. And I was like, wait new smash incoming. Like this is
Oh
so
wait.
good. And then, in my humble opinion, it flopped Tina's hard after the first two songs. So then I had to come back with like a clown emoji and be like, well, I listened to the rest of it and it was like flop. So there's that. But the song by her that I'm like absolutely living for is called Super Scar. It just feels like very like that kind of like dramatic Britney kind of in a way. But then I also feel like there's like a level of modernity to her that kind of makes it like, oh, like maybe she's like the edgy Tate McRae, if you will. Like maybe she's like a little bit less palatable for like
Hmm.
like the mainstream because she's got like a little bit of an edge to her. But I thought that song was really, really good. The music video is like really strange because you can tell it's filmed on like behind like a really bad like green screen. Like the effects in this video are like really bad. It's like kind of
Levi would hate that.
it's weird. I was like, why is this so low
Well, if
quality?
it's intentional, I like it. Like, I think if it's like knows that it's bad, I don't like it when Netflix has a $200 million movie and everything is green screen and looks stupid.
Yeah,
That is
that's rough. That's rough.
schlocky schlock.
But yeah, so my hot track, all that to say, my hot track is Super Scar by Adele. I'm living for it.
Okay.
Cute. Pause
Yeah.
up, Adela.
Work.
Work.
Okay, Maria, who?
Okay, Levi.
Oh, me.
Oh.
Um, so I, unsurprisingly to the nation in general public, have been just snorting Swift every time I can. I mean, this is the first episode since the most important engagement since Charles and Diana. So first of all, we just got to say that
First of all,
Yeah.
let's just say that your English teacher and your gym teacher
are
are
getting
getting
Are
married.
getting
married.
Which, by
married.
the way, let me just clarify something real quick. I'm sick and tired of these stupid idiots who don't know fucking anything trying to be so woke about, oh, this is the worst Instagram caption ever, blah, 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 blah. Not everything is for you, because if you actually read the ancient text, you would know that she is referencing an inside joke in the Swiftie fandoms for years, which originated in the folklore era when she was dressing like a grandmother every 2 seconds. And people were always like, oh my God, she looks like an English teacher that you would come out to. So she's actually just bringing it back to the fan base and the core Swifties and the bad bitches and the real BB Rexa fans. So you don't even know. You don't even know people.
If you know, you know.
And I'm just tired of them being like, oh, I've like seen people say, oh, she's trying to like appeal to the working class. Fuck off, girl.
What?
Don't know what you're
What?
talking about.
Unfortunately, Taylor Swift will always be the victim of overanalyzation.
Literally, nobody can
Yeah.
be normal about her.
And
Nobody can
like,
be. If people think I'm crazy and Swifties are crazy, it's like we are provoked. We are provoked. How can we be normal if everybody else is being crazy? I literally saw a Reddit post saying that that caption, they're cosplaying teachers and doing stolen valor. Like, what is happening? It's a joke. It's that like Britney video. It's a movie. It's not real. You're an adult. You should know
you
that.
should know
Like,
that.
it's an Instagram caption. It's not real life.
You're an adult. You should
You're an
know that.
adult. You should know that. Like, it's silly.
Yeah.
It's not. It's pretend. So if you're on the woke parade about the Instagram caption, I'm gonna need you to get off my live chat because I just can't handle that right now.
Yeah.
So that said, I have been I've been dancing in a storm of my best dress fearless all week. I have been, belonging with you. I have been a scarlet letter. I've been 15. I've, been saying forever and always. Like I just am heart hands up fearless. So, and I've been kind of oscillating between the OG and the Taylor's version. I love that, like, now that we can kind of listen to, I mean, you could have done whatever you wanted before, but I didn't listen to any of the OGs when she didn't own them. So, and there was a Taylor's version available. So it's really cool to be able to listen to both now and like kind of get different things from it, because there's moments on the Taylor's version where I think like she was possessed by the spirit of Aretha Franklin. Like, tell me why is like the greatest vocal performance of all time. Sorry, at me. Like like tell me why Taylor's version. I don't know why the heck she decided to become Celine Dion, but like she literally has never sounded better in her entire life. But then there's also so much of like just this like youthful like innocence and luminous quality to the original that like you just can't get when you're like older and the most famous person in the world. And so I am going to pick a song for my hot track that is the best example of that. I think Drew knows what it is. This is just, it's one of the best opening tracks to an album of all time. It's one of the best title tracks to an album of all time. It is literally a perfect song. And it's a song that I was talking about this with friend of the pod, Eric, the other day, because he's like Maria, a big monster. And we were talking about like songs that don't have to be, well, kind of stuff that we've like been talking about before. Like, um, kind of like Maria, like remember what you said, that question that you asked us? We're like, what is like the song that like best represents what an artist does?
Yeah.
We were talking about something kind of, it was like worded a little differently, but like similar. And I know that we both said All Too Well for Taylor, which I still think is right, but I also think that you could say Fearless title track for it as well, because like that just captures like a Taylor Swift energy that is so specific to her that like nobody else can really replicate. Like the Taylor Swift experience is dancing in a storm when you're best dressed fearless. Like in the moment now, capture it, remember it, like could just be kind of like the thesis statement of her career. Um, and it's just a perfect song. And her vocal performance as a teenager is just like beautiful. It's just like it. I know Drew evangelized me on it. It is like just one of the best vocal performances.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it's a great example of like not needing to be like a technically perfect singer and having an incredible vocal performance because she just like imbues so much emotion and effervescence into the song. It's incredible.
Wait, so you're going with the normal version, right?
Yeah, the OG.
Yeah.
OG.
Okay, okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Don't get me into that Taylor's version T for that.
Yeah, Drew doesn't like the Taylor's version title track.
No.
Ooh,
Because and part of it just because like that's an example of the youthful quality of her voice just kind of being like needed to have the full effect of the song.
Yeah.
for sure. That makes sense.
Because like she has like kind
It's
of like a bit of a huskier, deeper tone as an adult, which I think like for a song like Tell Me Why adds like power and heft because like she's kind of belting in that song. But for a song like Fearless, that's like such like a girly, romantic head over heels kind of a song, like that, like youthful quality she has in her teenage vocals really just helps that shine. So that's me. I'm
I hear
dancing in the
you.
storm.
oh, so good.
Okay, Drew.
Okay, I'm kind of going in a different direction for mine. So I've been obviously listening to this album, Man's Best Friend, since it came out. So I haven't really been diving into anything else. But before I got onto this Sabrina Carpenter gig, I was actually listening to a lot of Shawn Mendes, which in 2019, I was just like, he was my everything. And so I was really listening to a lot of him this past kind of week. So I thought it would be cool to do the song he wrote about Sabrina for my hot track. So the song I'm doing is In Between
Is that from the new album,
by
the
Shawn
most
Mendes.
recent album?
Yes. Yeah. Really
Right.
good.
Play the world.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Tea.
T.
That's tea.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would love to do a Sean episode when we do things that we have on the list. Like, if we have a good week where like we can, you know, do a Sean episode where
Girl, that's
nothing's
up to you.
happening.
You can do that whenever you want. There's 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 nothing
Right.
unless Maria in your guys' private conversations are just texting you, no Sean ever. You,
You are barred from ever doing Sean.
unless like she's a Sean prior, you can do it whenever you want, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I just haven't talked about him that much on the pod, which like it's crazy
You've
because
talked about him.
maybe.
He's been a hot track before, but I can't
Yeah,
remember
he's
I
been a
think it was
hot.
when he released the first single for his new album. It
I
was
think
like,
Oh, okay,
I think
okay.
you picked Heart of Gold as a hot track, maybe.
Oh, yes, because I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think
Then
you
maybe
said
just
the exact same thing, pretty much what you said of, I love Sean. I never talk about him. I want to do him. I think, oh, like as an
on the pod,
episode.
on the
right,
pod, on the
right.
pod.
Um,
What are Shawn Mendes fans called?
Mendy's
Oh,
Mendez Army.
Mendez
wait,
Army.
I think. I don't know.
wait.
I don't
I
really think they're called
Because isn't
anything
that like
anymore.
BTST? Like that's like BTS Army. Like
yeah,
that's what they're
BTS
called.
Army. But I mean, was Sean before BTS? I actually don't know.
I think it's so
Yeah.
I
funny
think he was
when
famous he was for sure famous in America before BTS, but
Yeah. He was
totally.
Vine.
Yeah.
wait, but did he have fans when he was Vine?
Yeah, because that's how he got his
That
record
was
deal.
that was MagCon.
Yeah, he was
I
MagCon.
well, I know that, but I'm just saying he
Bro,
wasn't
they had a
like,
lot of fans.
but like they were MadCon fans. Were they Shawnees?
Yeah, yeah. Because that's
What
how he
are
got
they?
his record deal. Because he was the singer in MagCon.
What are Shawn Mendes fans called? Yeah, the Mendez Army.
I
Yeah.
think it's so funny when fandoms are called armies because it like implies that there's like a war. Like the implication is that there's a war.
Well, it's funny too because there is BTS Army, but also isn't Army what Britney's? Yeah, Britney. They're called the Army too. They were like the first Army.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Britney fans.
Whoa.
And
I had
then
no idea.
Rihanna fans are the Navy.
Yeah, I knew that.
Who's like Air Force? We got to get all the branches. Space Force.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I don't know. Oh my God, the Charlie Puth fans are called Puthinators. I'm on this Wikipedia article that's just every single
Who's the haters?
Yeah.
Let's
Cher
be
fans are called
serious for
Cher
one second,
Crew.
please.
That's funny.
Hmm.
Oh, do you know what Conan Gray fans are called, Drew?
No.
Coneheads.
Wait, that's kind of good.
That's kind of funny. I actually,
That SNLT.
yeah, that's good. Okay, this is crazy. If you ever want to be
Okay.
having an aneurysm, go to this Wikipedia page.
That's such a fun, it's such a fun rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah, that's insane. Okay, Drew,
Should we get into it?
you
Yeah.
start us away.
Okay. So obviously today we're doing the new release, Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter. It is her seventh studio album, came out the 29th of August. It's primarily pop, but it also, Wikipedia describes some of the genres that it delves into as disco pop, synth rock, and R&B, which I thought was kind of funny. She worked on it primarily with just Jack Antonoff, John Ryan, and Amy Allen, who were all collaborators on Short and Sweet as well. So it comes off of the huge breakout success of Short and Sweet. It kind of solidified her as a huge, pop princess, as Taylor Swift regards her as. Um, yeah, it this Short and Sweet was her really solidifying her kind of place in the pop genre. So she got two Grammys. She won Pop Vocal Album and Pop Solo Performance for Espresso. And it really solidified her as like kind of an A-list pop star. So her next release was definitely going to be this kind of A-list release that everyone was kind of waiting for. But it's kind of cool because I feel like no one really saw this coming this quickly. She'd been touring all year for Short and Sweet. So she started the Short and Sweet tour like last fall. And so she'd been touring it into last year and then into this year. And then she did some festival headlines. So she headlined Lollapalooza in Chicago. And then she also announced earlier this year that she was going to do a new crop of arena shows to end the Short and Sweet tour this fall, which haven't happened yet. So it's just a really interesting time to release another album. Obviously, like pop, especially like women in pop, really try to separate things by, era or um, yeah, so I think it's just really interesting that in kind of the last fourth of this era, she just kind of started something new, which I feel like is pretty rare. Like, I feel like the only person that has done that in like recent time, I feel like maybe would be like Ariana for like Thank You Next. I feel like she for Sweetener and Thank You Next, it was kind of like a double release, but this feels definitely different than that. So,
And
yeah,
like it's
really
like a
interesting.
folklore Evermore type of a thing.
Right, yeah. But it's just interesting because Folklore, she wasn't like touring it. So it was
Right,
kind of,
right.
and Evermore kind of fits in the same kind of landscape as it. So it didn't feel like I think in a lot of ways this release strategy could come off a little messy in a way that Folklore and Evermore I don't think come off messy at all just
Got
because
it.
we were
I
in
know what you mean now.
lockdown.
Sorry, I just
Um,
50 crazy.
yeah. So most of the album kind of centers on relationship drama that was very publicized by her relationship with Barry Keoghan. Obviously, that was a very public relationship. He was in the Please, Please, Please music video. They obviously had a very public relationship, which she actually talked about recently in her recent interview with Gayle King, which is a really interesting interview if you wanted to check it out. It also, I think, though, more so than it being kind of her relationship, it's more so a reflection of her place in a relationship in general and how her past of dating these kind of immature men has made her who she is to society at large. So, yeah, really interesting. She's also very satirical about her place in society and her place as like a public figure who's known for like being open about like sexual things and that sort of thing, which is really cool. It's something that I don't think it's her niche that I don't think has been really perfected by other people in the pop sphere in so long. So, yeah. So the first single was Man Child, which was released on June 5th. So it was actually her second number one. And yeah, so it came out June 5th, and it was kind of like, oh, like Sabrina's releasing a new single. And I think for most people, it was kind of seen as kind of a standalone. Like I don't think a lot of people thought that she was necessarily like dropping another album, especially like in the next couple of months. So yeah, that happened, and then the video and the song obviously have been huge staples. The video just got nominated for Video of the Year at the VMAs, and she's performing, so that should be really exciting. But then I think a couple weeks later, she teased the album in an Instagram live. She was going through like a stack of records by Donna Summer, ABBA, and Dolly Parton. And then she announced the album, which brings us to the album artwork, which was obviously kind of the biggest, societal thing of this album, I would say. It definitely provoked a huge like controversy by a lot of people who weren't necessarily like in on it or people who don't really understand satire. So obviously she's like on her knees and a guy is pulling her hair and she's like shaking like a dog. Um, so I think obviously a lot of people were like really upset because it kind of like hints at the male gaze, which I think obviously a lot of people were not really excited about. Um, but I mean, yeah, I mean, it's Sabrina Carpenter. I think obviously it's clear satire what she was doing with the cover. Um, so yeah, so obviously a lot of people hated it. They didn't really love it. But whatever. And then shortly after she released an alternate cover, which is obviously the recreation of this photograph with Arthur Miller and Marilyn Monroe, where she's like in black and white. Um, and she captioned it, I also released a new alternate cover approved by God. So I love how she's kind of in on this. Like, she said in the CBS interview with Gayle King that she's in on the control. So, like, she knows kind of what she's doing. And I think that's what makes this kind of controversy for the album artwork so, kind of annoying as someone who really likes her and is a fan of what she's kind of doing with her platform and like what she's doing with her kind of space in the pop industry. So, yeah, just really interesting that the cover is something that um, has been such a huge controversy. I feel like I don't even know when the last time an album cover was really like s- seen this way by like a female pop artist. Yeah, really interesting. Uh, And another thing, another famous quote that she said in that interview was that she's okay if Tommy from Arkansas doesn't like what she does, which I think is obviously a huge kind of statement for her. Um, so yeah, and then so Tears was the second single that she released with the album rollout. It has a huge disco vibe. I think this is definitely where like the Donna Summer of it all comes into play. It also kind of reminds me of like a Prince vibe, which I really like. And she also released a video with Coleman Domingo co-starring. It definitely has a huge Rocky Horror vibe. It definitely has a very queer vibe, which I really love. So yeah. And the references on this album, just the ones that I've seen online, were Donna Summer, obviously Dolly Parton, ABBA, Prince was another one that I saw online. And then also, I haven't seen this one online, but the song House Tour specifically reminds me a lot of Janet Jackson. I don't know if that's been something that has been hugely publicized, but
That's literally
um,
the first thing I thought of when I heard it.
Yeah,
So,
I see that on Twitter a
same.
lot too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
yeah,
okay. I haven't
100%.
seen that, so okay, perfect.
I also saw
Um,
Paula Abdul comparisons.
Yeah.
So, like,
yes.
I mean, like that big, like drum, like the slam percussion that's throughout the whole thing. Like it starts and you're like, oh,
It sounds
I know
like
exactly where I
nasty.
Yeah,
am.
it's so Janet.
Yeah,
It's so
100%.
Janet.
Oh. It's so good. Okay, perfect. So, on Metacritic now it's sitting at a 76, but there's only six reviews in. Short and Sweet though landed at an 82, so it's definitely seen as not as favorable as Short and Sweet. I think the main thing is like obviously Short and Sweet had these like huge singles that came with it. I mean that those three singles where she broke that record of having her first three on the Billboard Hot 100 being in the top five, if that makes sense. I think that was the record that she broke. Like it was whatever. But obviously it doesn't have that. So I think it's seen as less favorable as that. So I'm interested to see what we all kind of think about it. So that's kind of what I wanted to leave us with. I don't know if there's anything else you think would be important to cover, but yeah.
Love.
No? Okay, perfect. So Maria, why don't you start?
Sure, yeah. So yeah, I was really excited to listen to this. I had never really listened to Sabrina all that much before Short and Sweet, which I'm sure is the case for most people since it was like her big like kind of like
Flop.
explosion into the mainstream. Hey, I'm not saying she's a flop. I'm not saying that. But yeah, I just thought this like whole kind of I think this whole aura that she's like created around herself is like really interesting because I don't know, I just feel like there is like kind of Drew, like you were saying, like there's kind of all of this like controversy or this like it's like very like divisive, like how she has ended up like presenting herself. Um, and yeah, of course, there's like the whole controversy with the cover and people being like, wow, it's like really taking feminism a couple steps back or, like all of that sort of stuff. And like she had said in that interview recently, like in the photograph, she's like, like I have control. And so I think something that is, in the hands of like the woman in a relationship is like, do you want the control in having your control or like willingly giving up your control, like in that sort of scenario? Like, I think her saying that she's like, it's clear in the photograph and like the whole vibe of this album is like, I'm the one in control, like I'm the one who has the power, I think is like very important to note. And yeah, like when I saw this cover, I was just like, wow, like that's pretty tea. Like the cover is like it's like really gorgeous and I love how it has this like grainy like sheen over it. Like it's like a physical photograph, but she also just like looks great in it. And it's just kind of like a I think it's like a playfully provocative photograph. I was really surprised that it was really like, whoa, oh my gosh. And then I think it was also the cover came out at the same time as like a Rolling Stone cover that she had done, where she was also like very scantily
Yes.
clad. And then I saw people reacting to that photograph, and everyone's like, wow, like, this is like really shameful or something, or like, great, now like, men are just gonna expect women to like be naked all the time. And it's like, well, okay, like, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting. That people were so quick to kind of just like be like, well, it's over. We're throwing in the towel. Like one woman decided that she wanted to show off some of her body? So I just thought it was interesting because I think, especially if you've listened to her talk ever or listened to her lyrics, like I feel like it's very abundantly clear and true to like what you're saying as well that like she's like very satirical. She's just like inherently kind of like a comedic person. Like she always has this like air of a comedy, I feel like, to what she does, and that is just like inherently tied with like campiness as well. So yeah, that's kind of like my take on the whole thing. And yeah, like her songs I think always have some sort of like level of like campy comedy to them. So yeah. Then something that all of this like Sabrina Carpenter stuff always makes me think of too is like I feel like I remember when she was going on tour for Short and Sweet and her show has like like a level of sexuality to it and there's like the parts where it's just like her and it's like silhouettes of like her and a guy like getting playful and this and that and it's just like also just in the lyrics that like yeah she's like talking about like sexuality and her relationships and all of that, like it's not a secret that like her like this is like the subject material of her music. So then there's kind of like this, uproar of like, oh my gosh, like I thought I could bring my 12-year-old to a Sabrina Carpenter show and the whole show was extremely sexual and this and that. And that kind of whole argument of like, like, wow, she should be ashamed of herself for like being so sexual on stage. Like, I can't even bring my, my like little kids to this or whatever. Always just makes me think of like just the like default that people tend to have or like the general public tends to have that like pop music, if it's pop music and especially if it's pop music by a woman, then it's inherently for little kids, which just is not true and like has always kind of irked me. Even when I was like, like a preteen and it was like really into One Direction. And then you just don't get taken seriously as a music enjoyer because what you listen to is pop music. And of course, us being a podcast about pop music and um, all of that, it's like we've talked about the poptimism like revolution a couple times, but like that has always kind of irked me of like pop music equals it's playtime for little kids and you're at daycare. It's like, well, no, like a grown woman, Sabrina Carpenter, can make pop music about adult experiences and adult feelings. It doesn't mean it's for little kids just because the music is fun. So, that's just like something that I've always like felt really strongly about. And again, it's like with her music and especially like Tears as a lead single, it's like this should definitely be like this is definitely for like adult mature brains. Like, the lyrics are like a little bit jarring on purpose because that's her whole vibe, as we know. But it's like, yeah, like we maybe wouldn't want like little kids to be like hearing her, like, I mean, I guess that's like a totally like person to person basis opinion of like what you want to show your kids. But like, it's like written out in like big letters that her music is probably more appropriately enjoyed by adults. And it's just like pop music is, broad and, pop music can be for children, sure, but like, sometimes it's time for little kids to play and sometimes it's a grown woman's turn. Okay. So that's my whole take on all of that sort of stuff about
I add
like,
something real quick to that,
yeah, of
just
course.
because I loved everything you said, retweet everything. And I also like, I don't think it is the artist's responsibility to police themselves or like cater themselves to what your expectations of them are. Like, it is
Right.
not Sabrina Carpenter's responsibility to be quote unquote appropriate for 12-year-olds because that's your impression of her. Like, I think that we try to like put so much of that responsibility of like being uncomfortable or like not knowing how to have these conversations with like children or whatever have you onto the artist when it's not the artist's responsibility. The artist's responsibility is to create art, create conversation, create culture, offer it up to the public, and then the public has to figure out what it wants to do with it. Like, she's entitled to do whatever the fuck she wants because she is of age. She's singing about consensual sex, and that's her right. Like, it's not
Yeah.
her responsibility to do anything about that. It just pisses me off. I'll have more to say in my segment, but I just really felt strongly about saying that, and I loved
Yeah.
everything.
Totally. Yeah. And I remember too very vividly, like when Lil Nas X came out with the Call Me by Your Name music video.
Yes.
And I just remember everyone being just like, how could he? Like he had like there were like 10-year-olds that liked his big
Who
song.
cares?
And it's like that's not his
Who
job.
cares?
And I also don't think he created a song for 10-year-olds when he made Old Town Road. So it's like, okay, like it's not his job
No.
to like like snuff out his creative juice to like be like, okay, well, I guess my audience is 8-year-olds. Like,
Well, it's
no,
also
that's
like
not.
these people aren't looking at their music on a creative level. Like
No.
they're just looking at it as the songs that made them famous and that's it. Like, and they're not even reading into the lyrical content of the songs. These people who are mad, which is like really interesting. Because if you listened to even like her like emails I can't send, which was her like huge departure from making music for a specific audience that, got her place. Obviously, like Disney was a huge platform for her. she's singing about the same things on albums like that, which is like so interesting that now we're mad about it because she's gotten famous. It's
Yeah.
just really weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my soapbox about all of that. But as far as the actual album goes, I've listened to it a few times since it's come out. It came out like for us when we're recording this came out like 3 or 4 days ago. And yeah, I had a lot of fun listening to it. I personally felt like it lulls a little bit in the middle. It goes like a little bit more, not like acoustic, but the songs in the middle just like weren't as exciting to me, and that's just like my personal tea. But the songs that are like big, like bombastic pop moments are like my favorite parts of this for sure. And then ending with like the ABBA inspired ballad is just like so beyond. It's like it's just funny because it's like so on the nose as an ABBA song. It's like if you are alive and you're older than like 7, then like you definitely understand what's going on. Like it's so, so, so ABBA. Um, but yeah, I wasn't expecting the album to have such a strong um and it's it's hard to say because like I'm not trying to imply that this is like country tea, but like I was surprised that like the through line of it was like acoustic instruments to an extent. Which like I guess maybe when Manchild came out, I was just expecting it to be an outlier in her discography, kind of like how The Giver is for Chapel, where it's like here's this like little country gig for a second and then I'll kind of resume my normal like pop structure. So I was kind of expecting it to be like that for Sabrina. So I was a little bit surprised that it actually kind of is the through line that keeps everything together as far as like the sonics of the album. Um, and the cover doesn't give that like it may sound like that. I don't know. Like I'm not like saying it as like a major grievance or anything, but I was kind of like surprised. Like that was kind of my experience with it. But like the big pop songs on this, I love, 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 love. But yeah, I feel like oh, well, obviously the music video for Tears is so good. Rocky Horror is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I love when anyone kind of takes that as like source material and interprets it. And I think she did such a great job with it too. And Coleman Domingo in the video is just so, so good. And he looks so amazing in it. And yeah, really everything about the video I thought was like so cool. Um, and again, like she kind of gives this like classic vibe to like all of her stuff. So like I just love how there's kind of like a grain to everything and the way that she's shot in the video is just so 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 gorgeous and she looks so great and she's giving so Janet with like the little hat and like her dress. It's like all just so 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 good. So yeah, I thought that was great. But that's all I have to say.
Lay the wolf.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Levi.
Woof, woof, woof.
Woof woof.
Um, yeah, Maria, that was like so eloquent. I loved everything that you
Wait, was there another episode where we were barking?
There was, and I can't remember what it was.
Hounds of Love.
Hounds of
Oh,
Love. That's
right.
right.
I got major deja vu. I'm like, wait, we barked at another one.
You're like,
Are
we
you a
barked
Hounds of Love
recently.
son or a man's best friend daughter? Well, we know Drew's man's best friend. Maria, I'm guessing you're Miss Hounds of Love.
Yeah, of course.
I fear I'm a Hound of Love as well. No disrespect to Sab. Oh, 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 oh. It's so good. It's so good. No, Maria, I loved everything you had to say. I thought that was just so eloquently stated. It really was really interesting to listen to. Yeah, so this has been like the most talked about album of the year. Like, just I would say, maybe that's kind of a question to everybody to see if they agree as well. Like, from the startup of the era with the insane controversy and discussion over the album cover and then the like wild Twitter/online reactions to it over the last few days,
I mean, I've seen people say it's one of the worst albums they've ever heard. I've seen people say it's one of the best albums they've ever heard. I don't really think either of those are true. Do I think this is the worst album of all time? No. Do I think this is better than like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band? No. Um, but it's just been like interesting and it's so funny. If you had told me 5 years ago that Sabrina Carpenter would become the biggest provocateur in pop music, I would look at you and say, you are experiencing a psychotic break. You need help immediately. Let's go to a hospital. Never. The girl who released Skin, no way. No way. And so I think like my biggest impression right now of Sabrina is I'm just having a fun time watching her be a pop star. You can tell this is something that she's worked really hard at being for a long time. I think that's something that we talked about in our short and sweet episode last year, but it's true. There is, or maybe we did short and sweet earlier this year. I can't remember when we did short and sweet. Whenever we did short and sweet, I think we talked about that. Because there is a part of her story that I just think is really cool because this is like I think technically what her seventh album, something like that, because she released all those albums when she was still kind of in Disney Channel land and then
Yeah.
Kia land, and emails was kind of her little planting the seeds for the breakthrough and the blossom and the bloom that would become short and sweet. And so, and that was kind of the theme I think of last year in pop music was like seeing big success stories of her and a Charlie and a Chapel, people that have been working really hard for a long time finally kind of receiving their dues. And I just think that Sabrina Carpenter is really good at being a pop star. I think she likes being a pop star, and I think she knows how to be one. She knows how to start cultural conversation. She knows how to create catchy music. She knows how to have an eye-popping visual. And I think what's most important is kind of something that we talked about last week with Future Nostalgia, something that I struggle with Dua, is I think to be a pop star, you have to have a personality. You have to have a persona that people can latch on to. You can have it be malleable and you can change and evolve. You kind of have to be a pop star and to have a sustainable career. But you have to have a personality. And that's something I struggle with Dua is I don't think she has that in her music. I obviously don't know her personally, contrary to what you might believe. But I think what Sabrina has been so successful at, what a Sabrina Carpenter song is going to be when you get into it. She has created your expectation of what a Sabrina Carpenter song sounds like, of what the vibe is, of what an era is going to be. She's cheeky, she's witty, she's flirty, she's horny, she's also really smart. She's in on the joke. It's all tongue in cheek. And she's filling a niche in pop music that nobody else is really doing right now. I think we also talked about this in short and sweet, but I think the last person to kind of be this like goofy, campy kind of pop star is Katie. But I think they're doing it in kind of completely different ways. I think there's a, I don't know how to say this. Like, I think Katie leans into like the goofy slapstick of it all a bit more. And I think like Sabrina has a bit more of like a dry sarcasm in her songs. I know that like Katie's persona is very like sarcastic and funny, like outside of music, but I think that there's just different ways of like winking and being tongue in cheek. And this Sabrina's way feels very appropriate for the 2020s with where we are in culture, with where we are in music. So yeah, Manchild came out in June. Uh, and I think my relationship with Manchild, I think is kind of emblematic of my experience of the album so far, even though it's only been out a few days. I listened to Manchild for the first time. I was like, that's a cute song. Cute. It's cute. Didn't really do much for me. And then slowly, I would see the clips of the video on Twitter and I would hear snippets outside, just in the world. I'm like, I'm hearing something. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I think, especially with the entire album now, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I think it is the perfect choice for a lead single. I can't imagine any of these other songs being a lead single. I think that it
Totally.
bridges the gap between short and sweet and man's best friend in a really good way. I think that any of these other songs, I think just it would the transition would have been too bumpy and it would have, I think, been too jagged because I think it captures a lot of the energy of short and sweet, but has the like stylistic and sonic qualities of Man's Best Friend. So yeah, now I love Man Child. I think it's one of the best songs of the summer. I think that it's like classic Sabrina. I love the production. There's multiple parts of the song that just scratch my ear. I love the pre-chorus and the first verse. The is it stupid? It's so that is some Jack Antonoff shit that I love. Like the way that he has that like guitar little riff in there. That is classic Jack shit. Jack, you get kisses. And then I love the switch up of the melody in the verse. I love when they do that. I love when artists do that in verse two. And the I choose to blame your mom is almost always stuck in my head. I'm just like sitting fucking on the bus and being, I choose to blame your mom. If you ever look at me and I'm not having a facial expression, that's probably in my head.
You know what other part of that song is so Levi bait?
What?
The and I like my
Yes, it is.
voice.
It is. She kind of is Tay daughter, I think, in the way that she
Yes,
it's
that is
so
so Tay
Tay
Daughter.
twin.
And I love the part in the music video. She's in that like red dress and like
Yes,
doing
it's
the
so
line
it's great.
dancing.
It's great.
Oh, it's
Well,
so
talking about the
good.
music videos, kind of going to what Maria was saying about like everything having this classic quality. I think this is a great time to bring up what has been most surprising to me about this record because I really wasn't expecting it. And kind of like Drew had mentioned, she didn't really give us a lot of context for what this record was going to be. I don't really think people knew that much about it. Um, I was not expecting this to be her tribute album to the 1970s in every single way. And what I find really cool about that is obviously nostalgia is huge in culture at large, but specifically pop music. I mean, the 80s is a decade that will just always be a touch point for pop music for the rest of all time. People will always be doing their version of 80s pop music. And that goes the same thing for a lot of decades. For 90s, for the Y2K, that's like a huge trend right now. I fear that the 70s has been a bit unexplored in that regard. And I find it really cool that this is her doing the 70s. And on top of that, one of my favorite things about the album is that she's not just doing one sound of the 70s. We have 70s Dolly, but we also have her doing ABBA, and we have her doing Donna Summer, and we have her doing kind of like, I mean, I get a little bit of like Carly Simon, Carole King, like Karen Carpenter on some of these ballads. Like We Almost Broke Up Last Night. Like there's a lot of like Olivia Newton-John on the record, I think. Like her ass. I mean, I've heard her sing Hopelessly Devoted to You before. Um not in person, but like in videos. But like I know her ass wants to play Sandy so bad. So bad. Um and so I find that really cool. I that's one of my favorite things about the record. And you see that in the visual in this like grainy photo that looks like it's been weathered and aged. And then the music videos, to me, are so similar and obviously inspired by 70s cinema from the way that they're shot, from like kind of the crossfire, rapid fire editing. There's this grainy, textured quality to everything. They're kind of they look like they are taking place in a different time. I love it. That it's one of my favorite things about the record. So getting into the album itself, my first listen, it was kind of similar to the Man Child first listen. I was like, okay, this is cute. It's cute. I think initially I was like, none of these melodies are sticking out to me. I was having a hard time really grasping onto anything kind of besides Man's Child and then like House Tour towards the end, nothing else really was like, oh, this is an earworm. Because with Short and Sweet, those songs are so immediate that the second I was done with the album, I was humming like half of them. Like one listen, I could hum you Taste, Bedchem, Juno, no question. And probably Good Graces too. Those were like my immediate, like, I can like hum these back to you verbatim. I didn't have an experience like that with Man's Best Friend. And then Drew's been saying this to me the last few days, and I think it's obvious. To me, this is such a grower of an album. It's not really designed to be like Short and Sweet and be as immediately effective. Um, and so it's still growing on me in a lot of ways. The melodies are landing more and more for me each day, which I'm happy about. Now there's a lot more melodies that are stuck in my head. Right now, Nobody's Son has been, I can't fucking get that song out of my head. I cannot get that song. It has this like lovely like sing-songing quality in the chorus that I just adore. Um, so yeah, I think that they're continuing to kind of plant their hooks, and I'm interested to see how they age. Just because we're doing the episode now and like I have to have an opinion, I don't think this is as strong of a project as Short and Sweet. I think they were both made kind of in quick time frames, but this to me sounds a bit more quote unquote rush than Short and Sweet does. Short and Sweet, I just think is so polished as a record. And this just doesn't feel as fleshed out in a lot of ways. Specifically in the verses, a lot of the verse melodies I can kind of be getting on board with the choruses, but there's a lot of verse melodies to me that just sound so similar to each other. They don't really like stand out enough. Um, like I said, I really like that she's established her persona, that she's sticking with it. Um, I am interested in her next project for her to kind of branch out a little bit. I just kind of want to know what like a Sabrina Carpenter song about other topics would sound like. I was thinking about Taylor, obviously, especially toward the like first half of her career, got so much criticism for only writing about relationships or whatever. But I think what made that work beyond just the quality of the writing being so well is like there's such a variety in like the kinds of songs that she writes about the same topic. And obviously there's different kinds of songs on this album, but there are qualities where things kind of bleed together to me. And there's parts of this record that don't feel super distinctive when compared to everything else, in my opinion. Um, I think her vocals are amazing on the album. I think that the production is cool. It's very cinematic. It's not my favorite production in the world, but there's a lot of like arrangements that I find very lush and very cool. Uh, and yeah, I think it's cool that she, just kind of stuck to her guns and released an album that she's really proud of. I think it's, good for her. I don't really get the choice of the second single, which I know at least one person disagrees with me on, and I'm probably in the minority. I don't care. I'll cop into it right now. I don't care. Um, I maybe wouldn't have gone with it because I don't really understand the appeal as a song on the radio, but whatever. They don't ask me these questions. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's very good in a lot of ways. I don't think it's as strong melodically. I don't think it's coherent as melodically. And I think that it can kind of bleed together. But I do think there's a lot of strong moments. I think she's very fun. I think the music is really fun. I love her doing this like 70s tribute. I think it fits her so well and her voice so well. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of songs that I've been coming back to. So that's what I got for you. Oh, also real quick about the album cover. I, I agree with what Maria was saying. When I saw the picture, I knew Twitter's going to be mad about this. I never thought that I would see things like Sabrina Carpenter is single-handedly dismantling feminism, which I have seen in earnest. I admit that I'm a man, and so like I'll have a limited view on this just because I don't go through the world experiencing life as a woman and have to deal with misogyny in that way. Um, but like I do see this as like satire. It's in on the joke. I like especially with an artist like Sabrina, everything is a wink. Like, and the album is called Man's Best Friend. Like I do think that, sometimes people don't really understand that like some things are meant to be provocative and are meant to provoke a strong reaction in you. And like, this isn't her saying it is good to be degraded. I love being degraded. It's tongue in cheek. It's silly. I don't think it's as serious as people are making it out to be. But again, like, I don't want to dismiss anybody's opinions who, matter more in the misogyny conversation than mine do. And the last point I want to make is that I love how unapologetic she is about sex, given that so much of Gen Z and like modern culture right now is puritanism and trying to erase sex and become prude land. Fuck that. That's so lame and stupid. There's nothing wrong with having sex. Sex is normal. Sex is a part of life. Everybody's doing it. The people who are criticizing her are fucking too. So it's like everybody's having sex. Some people are just not losers and lame about it. And the people who aren't having sex are wanting to have sex. So like shut up. I'm just so over this like Puritan whatever. Like there is so much horrible shit in the world. Sabrina Carpenter singing about being horny is not the worst thing in the world. None of y'all bitches could have ever lasted a second in the erotica era. If you think this is bad, you're not ready for Dita at all. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm literally like, you guys couldn't handle this. You guys couldn't handle Stripped Christina. You couldn't handle I'm a Slave for You, Britney. These are ancient texts, things that you claim to love and appreciate now. It's so stupid. Like, I don't even want to dignify it with a response because it's also the same thing of like, oh, like, Poor Things is a horrible film because there's sex in it and sex is bad, scary. Ah, like, grow up, grow up.
You're an adult, you should know that.
Pretty much everybody's here because of sex. Unless you're an IVF baddie like me, you're all here because of some fucking. So get the fuck over it. I'm so sick of it. If you're prude, get off my live chat. Get off my live chat.
You could not handle
Whoa.
Dita.
You
You
literally
could not handle
couldn't.
detail.
Like, I mean, do we really want me to bring out the sex book and have a story time? Like, if y'all not ready for that conversation, if Miss Hee Hee Ha Ha Man's Best Friend Woof Woof is being like the most blasphemous, disgusting thing you've ever seen, get over yourself. It's just, oh God,
Yeah.
I think they're all losers. That's what I have to say about it. It's just not that big of a deal. Like, it's not, who cares?
Yeah. And if you don't like it, don't listen to it or engage with it.
Yeah, like literally, that's the other thing. It's like I am not. There's a lot of people I hate. I'm not talking about them. I'm not going on coke rants on Instagram stories about them. Like I don't give them time because I don't want to talk about them. You know, it's stupid. It's I have veins coming out of my neck. I'm so mad about
Levi
this.
is like hulking out.
It's like just dumb. It's dumb. It's just
Yeah.
stupid. And like there's just literally there's so many horrific things happening all throughout the world. And what you're choosing to put your energy into is that you think you're like slut shaming her, which is the opposite of what your feminism is trying to accomplish. It's like this is a whole nother conversation that we could go on forever and ever, and I don't want to make
Yeah.
an episode, but you're a loser if you're stupid about it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Cool.
Okay, off the soapbox.
Okay. Um, so yeah, so just going into my thoughts, I mean, everything has been mostly covered. But kind of my main takeaway is just this is a huge grower of an album. I listened to it at the first listen and I kind of had a little bit. I mean, I definitely think I enjoyed the album a lot more than Levi did in the first listen, but I definitely could see immediately that maybe this wouldn't be something that people thought was as good as Short and Sweet. Like, I don't think it's probably as good as Short and Sweet, but I don't think that this was something that she wanted to be similar in any way too. I mean, clearly it's very sonically different. I think the thing that was hard with this, kind of what Levi was going into in his thoughts, was we kind of didn't have any expectations of what the sound would be because we just had Man-Child, and Man-Child is very much the bridge into this, kind of the first track. So yeah, so obviously like I love Sabrina and I love her finding her niche kind of in the pop music world. I definitely go deeper into that in the short and sweet episode. So if you haven't listened to that, you should definitely check it out. We talk a lot about like her kind of come up and how the unexpectedness of that is just like so cool, but also like kind of hilarious that like she went from being someone that we literally was I literally would have called her like the biggest Kia of all time,
You and
but
I thought that she was the biggest loser ever.
but like props to her because she literally is like one of my favorite pop stars now. Like I just think she's so
She
incredible.
made it out of the Kia asylum.
Bursted out and
I
burned it down.
in the best way. People always say that Charlie made it out like is the biggest escapee. Charlie's not getting number
I
one
think
songs.
Sabrina,
I mean,
yeah.
Charlie's not getting number one songs, and Charlie had a niche like cult following when she was a Kia. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gay people always have loved Charlie. Sabrina was people made fun of her,
Yeah.
and now
And I
she's
mean,
out
she's
screaming Olivia
definitely
for her.
like had reasons too for people to make fun of her.
Yeah,
Like
she was. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
she
Sabrina,
was making some embarrassing things, but no,
she locked the
yeah,
fuck
it
in.
just she really just and I wrote this down. If Short and Sweet was her finding her niche, like this album I feel like is her running away with it and like really just taking it to all of these other different worlds and sounds and yeah, I just really love it. Um I was trying to think of because this kind of thing what this kind of like has this huge breakthrough album and then goes into something like this kind of quickly reminded me a lot of like a couple of other albums that I thought I would mention. So she talks about loving Casey Musgraves so much, and I've kind of talked about this with Levi, but I feel like this album is very similar to Starcrossed by Casey Musgraves. Starcrossed was her follow-up to Golden Hour, and she released it kind of during COVID. And it reminds me a lot of it just because there is kind of that country through line, but then also Starcrossed is her kind of taking the kind of disco parts that were really kind of part of her identity in country and then like really pushing that further into its own kind of thing. And I feel like that's what she's doing. Like, obviously, there was this kind of like fun and flirty vibe to Short and Sweet that I think she took with this album, but made a completely different thing. Like, and I feel like that's what Starcrossed was. Starcrossed got a lot of heat for obviously its length, which I don't think Man's Best Friend gets as much heat for, but obviously I think a lot of people weren't expecting her to follow up Golden Hour with an album that just was so not country. And it got a lot of heat for not being country enough. And I think that's very similar. Also, the albums both touch on like breakups and they weren't received as well as its, breakthrough before. Um, yeah, there's also a song on Starcross that reminds me so much of a song on Man's Best Friend. There Is a Light has a very similar production to a lot of the kind of disco parts that you get from here. Um, yeah, so that was one that I thought immediately stood out to me. But then I also have been seeing a lot of people online talk about how it reminds them a lot of Positions by Ariana Grande in the terms of like it following Thank You Next, but then kind of not really. Thank You Next obviously had these huge singles and was a huge breakthrough. This was kind of Ariana in the prime of her being this huge pop star, and Positions kind of came through and had the one single Positions that did pretty well, but then kind of upon release wasn't really received as something that could compare to her other albums. But now a lot of people see Positions, especially people who are fans of Ariana, as a really great album. But I thought that yeah, it's really interesting because both albums to me are great. I love both of these albums that I compared it to. And it just sucks because they're albums that were released soon after their huge breakthrough that really were huge sonic departures. But because of the fact they came so quickly and were follow-ups, they were directly compared and then seemed lesser than. So I just thought I would if I share those. Yeah, and I love the cover. I think obviously everything about the cover we've kind of covered. Um, but yeah, I loved it. Yeah, and I'm really impressed with like the references on it. That's what I think makes it so distinctly different than Short and Sweet. The references were all things that she would have never um covered with Short and Sweet. Like there would have never been a Donna Summer song or like I mean there obviously is a Dolly Parton song, but like I feel like this whole like house tour Janet Jackson vibe is something that really couldn't have been on Short and Sweet. Like I don't think it would have sonically fit. So I think it's really cool that she's like really progressing and I'm really interested to see what she does next because I think she'll probably take the time to like not release as fast, but you never know. And then the last thing I'll say before we get into our like top threes and me's is Levi's talked a lot about how her kind of niche in pop reminds him a lot of like Katie's niche, kind of this like witty, sarcastic kind of vibe. And I think something that I relate to her so much with Katie that makes me like really that is like what I love about Katie is she really for her albums and for her like ideas visuals she really is like leading with concept and she really fits everything around a specific idea and a specific kind of brand almost like kind of what Levi was saying there's a very 70s vibe that's really prevalent in this and she talked about it in this interview too with Gayle King. She said that that's like the first thing that she explores with an album. She kind of delves into concept first and what she wants to explore. And I got that vibe so much with the Tears video. I thought that was something that like Katie would have done like totally. It gave me such a Katy Perry vibe, that video. Like I feel like if Katie was in her prime now, she would have done something similar to that in visual. So that's just another thing I wanted to mention, obviously because Katie Cat, but yeah. So that's our those are my thoughts. So why don't we get into the me's?
Yay. So I'll go first.
Yes.
Okay, so my me is one that for me when I was hearing it, I was just like, this song just has like a major B-side vibe. I was kind of just like, I'm honestly not sh I feel like this would be a really great bonus track. I didn't really feel like it had a place on the album and it just felt like a little bit too silly and it kind of was just giving me a little bit of an eye roll. So for me it's Go-Go Juice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
surprising
Okay.
to me.
Yep.
I just have seen that be like a highlight for a lot of people, so that's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like this sounds it was just giving me like you get the vinyl and this is like your extra bonus track on like a physical release.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my opinion. So,
Well, and I love your opinion.
thanks.
Uh, Mine is a song that I've listened to the album like 5 times. I can't tell you what the song sounds like or what it's about. Sugar Talkin'. Uh,
Oh,
I know nothing about that song, and I've listened to it, and I've paid attention every single time I've listened to it. And the second it finishes, I go, sure. I could not get. I don't know anything about it. Nothing stands out to me.
oh,
Sorry.
There's
roasted.
room for everyone. Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
I mean, it's not even bonus track. It's like this accidentally got on the album. I just don't. It's not bad. It's just it's Dua Lipa pre-future nostalgia. It's go on, girl, give us nothing.
Oh, whoa. Read her.
It's just not anything to me. Sorry.
Yeah. T, okay. My me is when did you get hot?
Oh.
Yeah. That one I'm just kind of like, um, what?
Well, Maria's
I
reaction
don't
was
know.
funny.
I kind of enjoyed I mean like again, this is my opinion. I kind of enjoyed that one. So I just wasn't expecting it
I
to
know.
be my
Yeah.
least favorite.
That's surprising to me too. Both of yours.
Yeah, I just I don't think the melody was as catchy to me. Yeah. I just it didn't it's the only one that I haven't really grown with yet. So,
Well,
T.
gag it.
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Holy Trinity.
So now, yes, on to our faves. So my number three is Goodbye. Loved her, loved the ABBA gig that she was in. So thought that song was really great. My number two is House Tour. Love. Again, like just like the big production pop songs, like my fave. So then my number one is Tears.
Oh, so I'm really in the minority on the tears train.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Manchild definitely grew on me a bit. Like when it first released, I was just like, okay, like this like isn't like it just doesn't have my name written all over it, like for me to like it. But like Tears totally has my name written all over it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is so made for like my brain to enjoy it. So I was just like, yes, this is so good. But Manchild definitely grew on me though. Like I definitely enjoy it now. Not that I was like, not that I disliked it. I was just like, not for me. But I'm cool with her now. But yeah, I
Well, thank
love like
God.
the big.
Beef has been resolved.
It's been yeah, we had beef, we squashed it, so we're good.
Perfect.
But yeah, Tears is just so good. I love like the disco vibe, and then and yeah, it's just so fun. So that's my fave.
Cute.
Cute.
Well, I would like to say that my top three would be different if certain verses on this album match the quality of the choruses, because I'm leaving out like some of my favorite moments on the album because I'm not a fan of the melodies of the verses, and maybe they just haven't made sense to me yet, and I still need to like receive their truth in due time. But I'm talking about Goodbye because that chorus is insane, but I just there's a I'm getting Miss Clunk from the verses personally. And then I feel the same way about We Almost Broke Up last. I love that chorus. I think she sounds amazing. I think it is so classic 70s. It's like Olivia Newton-John tee down boots. Again, I just am not a fan of the verse. So if that was different, that would be different because I love those choruses more than I love the number three, number two choruses, but as an overall song, more I like those more than these. So I just wanted to say that and give a shout out to those choruses because I love you those choruses. So my number three is House Tour. This is what I think should be the second single. I think this is so much catchier than Tears. And I think it is better and I think it's more fun. But if you're a Tears warrior, more power to you. I just think House Tour is so funny. I also love where it comes into the album. I love that it's kind of like a jolt of energy awake in the back half before we get the ABBA tribute, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Goodbye. It's just so funny and it's so classic Sabrina, and she's the only pop artist right now who could get away with it. It's awesome. My number two is Manchild. It's just grown on me so much. I think it's a great song. I think it's a perfect first single, like I said. I also think it's a perfect opening track. Like I think starting off an album called Man's Best Friend, where you're basically just dragging men, calling them stupid and dumb the entire album, and with oh boy, is so fucking funny. It's hysterical. And the production is awesome. Her vocal is great. Love it. And then my number one, by easy number one, by far, by far, by far, one of my favorite Sabrina songs, Nobody's Son. Nobody's Son, the hit you are. Nobody's Son, the him you are. Nobody's him. Nobody's smash. Nobody's number one song. Nobody's perfection. It's nobody's record of the year. Everybody's record of the year. It's incredible. My favorite
Yay.
chorus and my favorite bridge. There we go.
Gag it.
Cool. Got it. Okay, so my top three has kind of changed. Obviously, I listened to it again like three times this morning, and it kind of changed a little bit. So my number three is actually Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry. I love that song. I think it's like a vocal highlight of the album. I also think it's one of those like slower songs that is kind of earned throughout the track listing, and I figured that both of you wouldn't put it in yours, so I put it in mine. Um, I just really love that song. So my number two is We Almost Broke Up Again Last Night. I just think it's so I don't have a problem with the verses in the song. So, but I love it.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, baby.
Yeah, girl, I love it. Um, yeah, and it's just so grand too. Like I bet it's gonna go so hard live. Like I bet the last uh chorus is gonna be really cool to hear. So yeah, that's my number two. And then my number one is also Tears. I yeah, I think it's a perfect single. Yeah, the disco vibe like really works for me. It's a huge um it's like a huge progressor. Like I think her shifting sounds is perfect for a single like Tears. I just think it's really clever, smart, and funny, and I think that's everything she does best. Um Yeah, I like literally have not been able to get it out of my head. So yeah, gag it.
Gag it. Gag
Um,
it.
okay, so utensil time.
Yes, our ratings.
Yes. So Drew Fork, I'm gonna go in, and I was gonna go a little lower, but this has really been growing on me, and so I am gonna go in at a 9.7. Gag it.
Whoa.
That's just point 0.1 less than what you gave short and sweet.
Yeah, gag it.
Because you famously gave short and sweet 9.8.
T.
T.
Okay, Maria Spoon, dip it
Okay.
up.
Maria Spoon. I'm I'm also going to go a little bit lower than short and sweet. I think only a couple from Man's Best Friend are gonna have like staying power for me, but like I definitely enjoy the overall experience and the vibe. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay. And Maria and I had both given short and sweet for cultural context 8.3. I will also be going a little lower than short and sweet for the reasons previously stated in my long explanation. Um, I would be giving it 7.8.
T.
See?
So, this is funny. I mean, it's the exact same thing. Maria and I had the exact same score last time with short and sweet. This time we're still pretty similar. And then Drew is so up and above. Um, and so it balances out to an average of 8.3.
Work.
Great score, lovely score for Miss Sabrina.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congrats. I bet she was waiting with bated breath.
I mean,
But
this is
her,
going in Metacritic right now.
yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you, Drew, for woof, woof,
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah. Thank you guys. On
Um,
the ground reporting.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so fun.
I know. Real quick before we tell you guys what we're doing next week, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and follow us on our social medias at Pop
Pop
Girlies
Girlies Pod.
and
Yes.
stream everything and download
Yeah. I
everything.
mean, yeah, this is a good time. Like, we obviously, Levi has said, we're almost a year in. So, like, there are a lot of great episodes. I mean, we've covered most of the Pop Girlies at this
Drew,
point.
give everybody an episode right now to listen to.
Well, obviously, we've already talked about Short and Sweet, but my favorite, I think, if you want funny, I'm just gonna go Chromatica.
Chromatic.
Chromatica episode is crazy fun,
Oh my
funny.
gosh. Yeah, Chromaticos a really funny one.
Maria, give a different recommendation right now. Go.
Ray of Light.
Oh, so Gospel Truth.
I mean Bible. So yeah.
Mine would be, oh, there's so many good ones. I love the Torch of Poets one. I think the Torch of Poets one is
Yeah,
Yeah. That was Levi Coke rant.
yeah, that
yeah,
that was me experiencing psychosis for 2 hours.
yeah, yeah,
I ooh. Yeah. If you want to
yeah.
see me, I'm like, well, and kind of also, I mean, not coke cramp, but I was experiencing kidney stone hallucinations on Chromatica.
Yeah.
And
That
this
one, I
woman, Glenn
mean,
Close, does possess me at one
yeah.
point. I think
I
around the
mean, that
beginning of the
episode
bar.
is insane. It is recorded just minutes before Levi went to the
The
ER.
ER for 8
So,
hours.
It's
Where they
legendary.
pretty much were just like, well, whoops. They
yeah.
didn't really do much.
So,
They charged me like $2,000.
oh,
Healthcare, am I right?
Woof.
woof.
Okay, Miss
Oh
Maria.
boy.
Oh
Oh
boy.
boy, where are we going next week?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, the vibe is changing dramatically next week. So we're gonna be talking about a cultural classic, one of the best albums of the decade thus far,
Right.
arguably. So we're
Inarguably.
gonna, huh?
Inarguably. I mean, if you have ears.
Oh, right. Objectively,
You
inarguably.
just have to have ears, yeah.
Yeah, at
Totally.
Pitchfork.
Totally, totally, totally. So we're going to be talking about Ethel Cain's breakout album, Preacher's Daughter.
Woo! Everyone's clapping.
Yeah, and
Woo!
we will be in attendance at her concert just a week after
Pop
we
Curly's meet and greet.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Come
there's
up,
going to be a
come up. If you
booth.
see us, come up to us and say hi.
In a dark room if you see us.
If you see us out and about on the planet, like meet and greet, instant meet and greet
What?
spot.
No, wait. What should they scream at us if they see us? What's like a funny like gag
Just
it,
scream gag it, yeah. Or like Drew Fork, Levi Knife, Maria Spoon.
Levi knife when
It's a Levi knife one, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be in attendance at the concert, which is going to be a hoot and a half. But yeah, we'll be talking about Preacher's Daughter.
Yep.
So yeah, we will be talking about scripture. Buckle up because there is a lot of lore and there is a big storyline that
Yeah.
is the subject of the album. So we'll be touching on
Also,
that for sure.
like if you're listening to the album, like take care of yourself. Like, should we like, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
And like we'll get into it, but like I did listen to it for the first time on a plane, and I like really would not recommend that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
Don't do
take
that.
care of yourself, you know.
Don't do that where you don't have the opportunity to like go outside and get some air.
But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's fantastic. So like
Yeah. And I'll say too, I mean like I've grown a tolerance for like things that are like scary as I've gotten older. But I low key after I listened to this album for the first time, I like had a hard time sleeping for like a week. So get into that. But yeah, so we'll be talking about Preacher's Daughter, which is super exciting because it's got
yeah.
just like really incredible musicianship on it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be getting into that next week.
I guess I should say too, like it's not like jump scare or like frightening. Like you should, if you don't hesitate to listen to it because it's literally like the greatest album, but like just maybe do a read up before you listen to it if you're like easily
Right.
just disturbed. You know, that's what
Yeah,
I would say.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Agree.
Yeah.
So there we have it.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yay.
All right, I'm gonna go almost break up again.
Girl, I'm gonna go give a house tour while I'm sipping on my go-go juice.
Well, I gotta go get some Chips Ahoy ready.
All
Boy.
Mwah.
right. Bye, Shanti.